We are back again for another video, lesson number 9 on May 1st, 2022, titled Jonathan Shares. Lesson theme, Jonathan shares with his friend David. Key verse, Jonathan loved him as his own son. Oh, let me reread that. Jonathan loved him as his own soul. There we go. And you can find part of that verse in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 1. Lesson objective, learners will give reasons Jonathan was willing to share with David. Bible principle, I'm going a little too fast, I need to slow down. God sometimes allows us to have more than we need so that we can share with others. Lesson objective. Jonathan shared with his friend David to show his love. I will share with my friends and be kind to show my love for others. And we got the paragraph titled Jonathan shared with David. And we're looking at with a few verses. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verses 1 through 4. Just a little small section. King Saul failed as a king, not because he ruled poorly, but because he would not obey God. The Lord told Samuel to anoint David as the next king. When David was a young man, he went to the palace. He became very close friends with Jonathan, the king's son. Jonathan was so serious about their friendship that he made a covenant with David and sealed it by giving him his robe, sword, bow, and belt. He gave unselfishly of some of his finest possessions because of his love for David. Jonathan later saved David's life by warning him that his father was going to kill him. And we get to our devotional. A friend never stops loving. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. You find that verse in Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. Always there, always helping, no matter what. New words, bow, a tool used for shooting arrows. Covenant, a promise. Which now gets us to our story time, which is our Bible lesson. After David killed the giant Goliath, King Saul invited him to come live in his palace, where the king lived. David became good friends with the king's son. David's new friend was named Jonathan. Jonathan and David loved each other as brothers. They made a covenant, or a promise, to be good friends for the rest of their lives. The Bible times most young men had a bow and an arrow and a sword. Because he was the king's son, Jonathan's sword and bow were probably the best in the land. The fanciest, the sharpest, everything. It was top shape. Jonathan loved David so much he wanted to give his bow and his sword to his friend. He also gave David his robe and his belt. King Saul kept hearing how much everyone loved David. He knew that David had become famous throughout the land when he killed the giant Goliath. King Saul did not want the people to love David. He wanted the people to love him. So the king was getting a little greedy. He wasn't getting the attention he wanted. Jonathan heard that his father wanted to kill David. Jonathan warned David about his father. He went to the place where David was hiding and helped him escape. Not only did Jonathan share his very best possessions with David, he saved his friend's life. Jonathan saved David's life because he loved him. He also knew that God had chosen David to be the next king. David became king for all the Israel. Many years later, David found Jonathan's son and brought him to live in the palace with him. He wanted to show his love for Jonathan through his son. God showed his love for us through his son, Jesus. He shared Jesus on the cross. Shared Jesus on the cross so that we could be saved. There's a little more to that story, but that concludes that whole part. Hope you guys learned something, if not learned something new, if not got your minds refreshed. Hopefully you guys will come back again for another lesson, which is the actual today's date. But anyways, hopefully you guys will come back again. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. That will notify you whenever the next video is posted. And all I'm going to say is thanks for watching and come back again.